So when it's out of the packing, guys, the dramatic effect is even better. I mean, this is the proof version. Are you believing that shit? I mean, unbelievable. Look at the closeness of that dusting effect. The effect where on silver you have the blasting. You know, if you're talking about metals, blasting. Where are the lines there, guys? Is there a tracing, a masking, or something they're using on this? Because you know, as a guy that works with metals continuously, consistently, and loves metals, and is a corrosion guy, you know, looks at how metals corrode. I love silver and gold because they arguably don't corrode. Well, to a certain extent, you can make them corrode. Anyway, looking at this, I mean, this blasting is unbelievable. I do not know how the Royal Mint have accomplished this. Anyway, let's move on further and try and get this coin out of this ensconcement, because there's some elastomer here. If you notice, the Royal Mint puts elastomers at strategic positions in some coins, in some enclosures. And this particular habitat only has one elastomer. What is that elastomer, and how is it going to affect the metal? That's what I want to know. Because I test sealing elastomers all the time, and against metals and against chemicals that these metals are in contact with. And I'm damn well hoping that the Royal Mint has tested these elastomers that are in contact with that metal, and also tested this polycarbonate, this plastic or whatever. It might not be polycarbonate, I don't know. I don't know what this plastic is. What is this plastic? Very, very high durometer. Nothing there, nothing. You can't compress this stuff. And it's brittle. You can break it. What does that mean to me? It means polycarbonate. Anyway, if it is polycarbonate, there's lots of issues when it comes to silver. Keeping silver in this particular shroud, in this particular ensconcement. Anyway, let's just give this thing its due and put it onto paper, because paper's soft. Actually, that's a nice view, isn't it, of the king himself. And that kind of minting, by the way, I mean, that kind of compression on metal to get that kind of detail is ludicrous, guys. I mean, come on. I mean, we know these guys have been doing it for hundreds of years. Well, more than 100 years. Yeah. But, you know, that doesn't excuse the technical ability here. And other mints in Europe, let me name one, Germania Mint, right? They're employing techniques, yeah? They are employing techniques. But are they employing the same technique? I don't think they are. I do not think they are. I don't think they have the experience. But they're getting that experience, and they're actually getting that experience in an accelerated fashion. So I support the Germania Mint, generally. They're a great institution. But the other great institution is the Royal Mint. Anyway, let's move on. And also, there are many other mints that I haven't mentioned. Let's knock this coin out. Can we knock it out? Can we knock it out? We can't knock it out. Okay. Bear with me a second. I'll get this coin out. Okay, got it, guys. Smashed it out, man, on a soft surface, because silver's very soft. And also I'm wearing now, I put on some nitrile gloves. Nitrile as opposed to latex, by the way, and no powder. Latex come with powder sometimes, nitrile come with powder sometimes. Don't get the powder, guys. Anyway, as a chemist, for God's sake, do not get the powder. And expose these metals, by the way, in an environment that's conducive to exposure, because these metals do corrode. They corrode like any other metal. You know, when you touch them, you put oils on them. You don't want to put your oils on them. Anyway, because if you do, that's okay for these metals, by the way, at the time. But these oils stay around, they stick around, and they actually cover the metal surface. So they passivate that metal surface, and then the rest of that surface is open to corrosion, because if you have a look at the small anode, large cathode scenario, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is about looking at the structure and the design itself, and also the minting process, and also any flaws. So are there any flaws? Because I believe there are. And it cannot be the case that there are no flaws in these things, by the way. In any mint, in any situation where you're analyzing a coin, where you're looking at a coin from a technical standpoint, there are always going to be flaws there. The question is, can you identify them? And here, and also this kind of way of identifying is not the best way. You need to be in a climate controlled room, and also in a clean room. One of those rooms where they grow mushrooms, where they do biological analysis. You know, biology and chemistry is very important, are very important when it comes to metals, because anyway, the thing, lab work in general. Here we go, right? What this coin has is something very, very interesting and very awesome. The original image here, if you look at the Australian mint's image of the king, it's just has no detail in comparison to this. And the edges, if you look at the edges of anything that's blasted like this, those edges need to be masked very, very meticulously, and they have been here. There's no over spray. It's like a coating, you know. You look for overspray of these this edge lettering, you know. Not edge lettering. I mean overspray on the images that you're presented with. The king here. Look, these areas on the very edge. Anything under the microscope. Look under a loop. I would suggest a 40 times loop for looking at these things. Anyway, at the end of the day, things are weird. Things can be weird. They can go weirdly, especially when you've got detail. This side, there's very little external edge detail. There's very little edging on this image here, right? The main detail is internal, and that's where one should concentrate if you're looking at this coin from a technical standpoint. But here, you've got lots of edges. You've got lots of edges on this design. Look at this design, man. It's edge-tastic. Edge-tastic. Can we see it? Can we see any divergence from the edge on that blasting? It's not blasting in this sense, but from a metal working standpoint, it's blasting. For God's sake, it's blasting, you know. And then there's the surface. There's issues on the surface there that haven't been dealt with, that haven't been seen. Those issues didn't occur when I took it out of this container. Anyway, these are the things that quality people that are interested in quality, as far as metalworking is concerned, look at. The text, everything. And one of the interesting things with the Royal Mint is they tend to divide things. They tend to divide the edge lettering. They tend to divide it up into categories. There's no category here. There's no division here. You see that? It's like a weld. There's no weld here, and there's no grinding, and there's no metal changes. There's no changes in the surface finish. And you can detect that very easily. I mean, you can use detectors, or you can use visual inspection, and right now we're doing visual stuff. And if you put a surface finish detector, some kind of surface finish detection, looking at the surface finish, the crenellations on the surface of the metal, you'll see there's no divide there. Anyway, anno, yeah. And you've got to bear in mind the minting process. Sometimes anno is one stamp, and then, Regni is another stamp, and then 2 is another stamp. But here, there's no mention of that as far as the metal surface is concerned. And also on with instruments, And instruments can tell you whether you're right or wrong, to be honest, because visual inspection is one of the most powerful inspections that anybody can do. Our eyes can really detect things. I mean, they are very, very sensitive instruments. Anyway, so if we go on, we can see, there's something there, isn't there? There's something there. Is that a weld? Is it a stamp mark? Or what? Is there another one the other side? Let's see. No, there's not one the other side. So what does that mean? That means that they're using the traditional model where Regeni can be one stamp, 2 can be another stamp. This one, decus or whatever, Latin, can be another stamp. But no, this is the division here that's visual, and also you can see it on the surface as a surface finish. If you measure the crenellations in the surface finish microscopically, you can see that as a flaw. And then, you can see the technique that they use for minting. And this is the main thing. To be honest, the Royal Mint is very, very transparent about the way they mint things, because they leave clues as to how they mint in their coins. And I disagree with that in general. You see that edge as well? See, this edge should be perfectly 90 degree. This should be a 90 degree angle, sharp, fully sharp. Is that sharp? You can see it's not sharp. If you don't see that it's not sharp, then you can test it. I think the Royal Mint's leaving themselves open here. Anyway, that's my opinion as a metals guy, a corrosion guy that deals with metals and stamping and welding and covering up welds, how to cover up welds, how to make something of the highest quality. And don't get me wrong, the Royal Mint here has the highest quality. Can you see there? Here on the wing there? Where is the distinction between the brazed area, the blasted area, and the print area, the proof area, the mirror finish area? Where is that distinction? It's not there, is it? There is there is nothing there. You know, the masking is unbelievably good. Anyway, these guys have got a lot of good things going for them, but they're giving a lot of things away by lowering their quality standard and not obscuring or getting rid of or polishing out, whatever you want to call it, these small things that allow interpretation. Because the most important, in my opinion anyway, the most important interpretation when it comes to coinage, numismatic value, and things like that, the most important interpretation lies in the individual's mind. You know, you want to leave it to the mind to interpret these things as a piece of art, not as a grinding or a metal printing or some kind of rubbish like that.